podcast if I have too much music. So, most of you who follow me on Substack know I am starting a new podcast. I'm going to be posting this on my Sandy K Nutrition Health and Lifestyle Queen page. I don't know when I'm going to separate them. I'm going to keep them together for now. But I want you to first go to my Substack. I haven't given this podcast a name yet. So that's why it's going to just kind of mesh within the Sandy K Nutrition Health and Lifestyle Queen podcast. Over 1.3 million downloads in 4 years. It's the way to live your best life. You're going to hear all about wellness, prevention, health from a very different narrative and a very different perspective. We are talking about perspectives that are not mainstream, which of course is the only way to actually maintain your health. So go follow me, Sandy K Nutrition Health and Lifestyle Queen podcast, if you're interested in a lot of health and wellness. And then go to my Substack, sandycruz.substack.com. So SANDYKRUSE.substack.com. And there you will find all of my writing. This is the thing, you guys. I am in the wellness space, but I am very much a creator and I'm very much artistic. And today I'm actually going to read one of my Substack articles that I wrote. And I'm sure this is going to be for you menopausal women. Not everything is just for women. A lot of things that I talk about relate to women and men. And this particular article is called I Think About Cleaning in My Sleep. Does that make me crazy? Some women going through menopause might think it's crazy time, but I'll give you a different take. So, just so that you know what my Substack is, it's a creation of articles to really help you explore what's healthy and what resonates for you. We live in this world with all of these giant egos. I'm seeing this and I can't unsee it anymore. These people who claim to be the experts in everything and in you, taking away your power to know what resonates and what makes sense. And so my articles are more about perspective, they're more about exploring. They're more about philosophical. And yes, science sometimes does come into play, but that's what my Substack is mainly about because in the end, your wellness, it actually rests in your own hands. So while we do need to seek experts, and I do believe that we have to have experts, and make sure you see the right one, don't go and talk to your doctor about supplements, please. Like, just know that everybody has their expertise. Then, this Substack and my book called Bridging the Gap Between Science and Soul, this is really more created to help you explore your wellness and find out what you can do to tap into your own resonance for everything, everything. And it does relate to science too, but I'm going to read you this article. I think that if you're a woman listening, you'll enjoy it. So definitely go follow me on all my socials as well. Um, I think you're going to be able to relate to a lot of it. Okay. So I start off with some lyrics from the song, Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. Okay, I had to start with a few of those words because I'm like, holy shit, that resonates. In October 2022, I started to experience some of the more traditionally talked about symptoms of late stage perimenopause, like hot flashes, sleep disturbances, weight gain. Other things included that my blood work was off, but my brain always held out. pretty strong with no major mood swings and no brain fog, no other menopausal symptoms. My mood was actually more stable once I stopped getting periods regularly. Let me break down my late perimenopause periods for you. We are all bio individual, remember? And remember, the hot flashes in 2022 actually made sense when I broke it down. I used to track my periods. So in 2021, I had 13 periods. I was 51 years old. So that's pretty average, right? 2022, I only had 4 periods. I was 52. This was the year in October when the hot flashes began. So that makes sense, right? In 2023, I had 1 period at the age of 53. By the way, I started bioidentical hormones in 2023 too. In 2024, I had 1 period at 54 years old in March. That was this year. I'm not saying that you must go through menopause like this, but I will say it's an easier process to see your periods dwindle. Suppose your periods in late perimenopause get closer and closer and heavier. In that case, seeing a naturopathic doctor specializing in women's hormones might be a good idea to help you. Do not see a family doctor for this, as they do not specialize in women's hormones. They would probably only recommend the pill or IUD. That's it. Those are their tools in their toolbox. This harder, faster process of late perimenopause, it isn't ideal. A lot of women actually become anemic. There's a lot of problems with bleeding too much. And there might be an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone or estrogen dominance, but you're going to have to see. So if that's you, see the right expert for that. Now, fast forward to what happened before and after March of 2024 this year. I had a mini period on March 2nd. Just before this, I was experiencing breast tenderness and I did hormone testing and wow, it was like I was young again. Then I had the 3-day light bleed. Approximately 2 weeks later, I resumed a small dose of my bioidentical hormones, beginning with progesterone, which I have been on since I was 48. I started to feel like a literal bag of shit at the end of March through April. And I was nothing like the human I had been my whole life. Remember when I mentioned how I had some hot flashes and sleep disturbances and a bit of weight gain in 2022? See if you can relate to these symptoms. Extreme low mood, down, irritable, flat, depressed, weepy, zero ability to focus on anything, and so unmotivated. No fucking sleep and tossing and turning all night. Vaginal dryness, hot flashes. I experienced extreme facial flushing, which kicked up my rosacea. I shouldn't say my rosacea on my face to the extreme. I even had small pus filled pustules of inflammation from time to time. I gained 4 pounds in a couple of weeks. All the weight gain was in my hips, bum, and fupa, fat upper pubic area. Heart palpitations, constant blurry vision, dry eyes, flat, deflated breasts like empty sacks. Many women say in menopause they lose their breasts. It's a lack of estrogen. Swollen hands and edema. I was a different person. I couldn't figure this out because I thought, my hormones were ideal. I was young again. I then thought, holy shit, maybe I'm overdoing the hormones, given my hormone tests from February. So I backed off even my baby dose that I was already taking. Not completely, but I took less than I was even prescribed in March of 2023 when I originally added in Biest to my existing progesterone. My traditional hormone doctor was going on maternity leave, so I went to Science in Humans. By the way, I am affiliated with them. scienceandhumans.com. And I went to see them at the beginning of May. April was a living hell for me. So I knew I needed full blood work to see what the fuck was going on. These are the only hormone specialists in Canada I would trust outside of my naturopath doctor. My affiliation with them will give you a discount. Sandy K will give you a discount if you're in Canada. And these guys saved me from becoming a completely different human from what I have known for 54 years. Here is what could have happened if I wasn't keenly aware of my hormones and that I needed to do something about it. I could have become obese. I could have ended up on antidepressants. I could have ruined my relationship on all fronts in my marriage. I could have had a dead stop in my career as a result. Brain fog. I couldn't even work. I could have ruined my other relationships around me. I could have begun a trajectory of poor health and poor aging, and much more that I'm sure was happening under the hood. Do you not see, my friends? This is the downhill trajectory that happens to so many women around menopause. Once I did blood work at the end of April, I saw that my hormones actually flatlined. I was far from overdoing my hormones, which is what I was thinking maybe what was happening. My hormones had plummeted. This, my ladies, is how fucking fast shit can change in the late stages of perimenopause. And nobody really talks about this. They just kind of go perimenopause, menopause, right? It's like perimenopause, menopause. No, there's early, there's mid, and there's late stages menopause, perimenopause. And at 54 years of age, I'm in the late stages of perimenopause. And sometimes too many hormones can indeed look like too little, and things can get very confusing, even if you're already on bioidentical hormones like I was. And funny enough, I am certified in hormones and endocrinology, yet this was still a very, very confusing time for me. Everything was happening so quickly. It took time, though, for me to feel normal again. Science in Humans doubled my dose of both bioidentical estrogen and progesterone. I stopped muscle testing my hormones like I used to last year. So when I first started doing hormone therapy, I used to muscle test just to be sure I wasn't overdoing it. And I do believe that my body holds a lot of wisdom on what it needs and what it doesn't need. So, dosing and muscle testing is something I specialize in, which will be for another article another time. And dosing worked well for me at the beginning when I started the hormones. This time, though, I followed instructions exactly for 6 days on, 1 day off. I started to feel better, a bit better, after about 2 weeks. And when you do hormones this way, by the way, typically your period ends. And typically, when you do hormones this way, it's really helpful for those who have trouble with the ebbs and flows of hormones because we still have hormones. Like I had a period in March. So obviously, I'm not flat and we don't become flat. We still have hormones even after our ovaries completely shut down. Our adrenal glands have to take over. But most of us are so stressed out that our adrenal glands don't work well. So when you do hormones this way, 6 days on, 1 day off, it's more stability and it's helpful for those who have migraines like I do. So around this time, I also had a full body thermography, and my podcast on this topic actually releases on Monday, June 24th. It's an excellent episode, and you're going to learn so much. And I will dedicate an article here in my Substack. So make sure you follow my Substack. There's only a few spots left to get in for free for 1 year. I will dedicate an article to revealing all of my protocol post thermography in this article, and some of which I will discuss here. Be sure to follow my podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And this is not this one, it's my health one. Just go to sandycruz.ca or sandyknutrition.ca, whichever, you're going to find it. But you'll find my podcast everywhere. It's everywhere. Sandy K Nutrition, Health and Lifestyle Queen podcast. During this time, I intuitively knew I had to let go of so much shit that was causing me stress. And here is where I talk about the body and the mind and how it all connects. In times of change and reflection, it feels wonderful to let go of the things that you can. I also had my adult kids move back home, one for the summer, one who finished university. So there was so much change going on around April, May. I felt stress from my personal trainer, which I didn't need. I worked with a personal trainer beginning at age 48. Now, at age 54, spending $5,000 a year to do the training I learned years before was wasteful. I joined a gym for under $1,000. I now work out on my schedule, doing what my body needs, not what someone tells me I need. I learned all that. I also eliminated the stress of scheduling with someone. Initially, I worked out much more at my newly found women's gym. It's women's only. I love it. While I was trying to figure out my hormones, and I loved the solace in doing so. I was fucking complicating my life by having a personal trainer at this point. I also detoxed. It was more of a pre-tox, meaning drainage, but it was a month-long protocol and it felt great. And I use and trust only Quicksilver Scientific, their protocol for pre-tox. The link is quicksilverscientific.com. You can use my code SandyK15. Yes, I'm affiliated with them. I love them. After 6 years of nonstop gel overlay on my nails, I took it off and haven't looked back. So this is what my nails look like now. It ain't pretty, girls, but actually I've grown to really love the natural look. I'm really starting to abhor anything that's really fake. I don't know what's going on with me, but it's like anything fake is just something within me is just like really just it's I am not turned on by it, let's just say. So I took off the gel. This is about 3 months now. They were horrible initially. Um, I needed to purge this off my body as I knew it was causing more inflammation from my thermography report. Like, who has red thermogenic nail beds? I did, and it was so fucking weird. Did it contribute to the chronic wrist pain on this wrist? Probably. I did all my own gardening. I took many, many walks in nature. This isn't actually new. This is a staple in my life, regardless. And in the photo, you'll see a picture of my mini Australian Bernedoodle, Gracie. I fired my cleaning lady because this was starting to cause me stress. For years, I had noticed everything that she didn't do, and it drove me crazy, and I couldn't handle it any longer. Why was I paying someone to clean my house when I wasn't even satisfied? And then, holy shit, look at that. I realized how therapeutic doing all these things myself became. Oh, I'm too busy for all this. Bullshit. You're making fucking excuses. You're falling into the trap of ease. And when you fall into that trap, you're actually taking away a lot of the things in your life that are therapeutic. Google one thing, get all the answers in seconds. Hire someone to do your gardening. You need someone for pool maintenance, of course. Your cleaning lady is a necessity. Heck, we now even have home organizers and decluttering companies. Have someone tell you how to work out and motivate you instead of motivating yourself. There is some value in having a personal trainer. I agree. But once you learn the basics, you don't need it. Motivate yourself, learn new things yourself. Both of my parents worked their entire lives until retirement. We all pitched in as a family to help when we were younger. I was cleaning toilets at age 8. It was always manageable, and I would say there's great satisfaction when you do it yourself. The more things you can do yourself, the more pride you will gain in your work and your life overall. Actual work and career are only one source of pride, like your actual work and your actual career. Cleaning, decluttering are so therapeutic for the mind. Don't forget the body. Cleaning my home is incredible exercise. So there you have it. As I write this, I continue to clean my home. I take great pride in it. I'm not saying I'll never get help. I'm just saying do not dismiss the value of doing things yourself and doing the harder things the old school way. The old way of doing things for the body, the mind, and the soul can be pretty satisfying. This is food for thought. Remember that much of your wellness is in your own hands and it always begins with you, my beauties. So I'm in it with you. Yes, I do a lot for myself because I am a holistic nutritionist. I'm also a certified metabolic balance coach, but I do a lot. And I still have all the challenges that everybody else has. It's just that I don't let things fester for a long time. And I would love to hear from you. Please let me know if you found this helpful. And I have some incredible ideas for my new podcast. It will tie into the Substack, but I'm thinking I'm going to bring a co host and I'm looking at um, a male, and he's also a Gen X. And this podcast is really going to be talking about things in this world that don't make sense and that, how can we go back to a healthier, more sane world that makes sense? And having yin and yang, male, female, all of that, I think is going to really be a cool concept. So definitely follow my podcast, Sandy K Nutrition, Health and Lifestyle Queen. Follow this podcast, which still doesn't have a name. I've already picked my music, but I don't have a name yet. Isn't that funny? But it's probably because I'm waiting to see if things are going to work with this co host. I'm hoping it does because I think it's a great concept. And I think a lot of you midlifers will really resonate with this. So follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm kind of everywhere. TikTok, find me there. I really appreciate you guys. And I love the community that I'm helping to create for a better world. Bye.